It's December, and you know, I'm out here in my Ranger panties. We just got a new rock salt spreader in from Spyker, the one that a lot of you guys saw at GIE. We have this P60 here already. We've had this, I think, for about 2 years. It's P60-8020, I want to say. And I just thought I'd throw up a kind of a comparison of these two and the differences, and explain a little bit why we got this one, and we're still using this one for fertilizer and seed. This spreader here, right, the P60, is a 80-pound, has an 80-pound hopper, if I'm not mistaken. The controls are a little bit different than on the rock salt spreader. Good grief. It does come with this top. The only issue that we've had with this top, and if I can find it here, is that one of these corners kind of, so right here, so you can kind of see one of these corners came off of it. I mean, it's just a clear plastic here on this, but not a big deal. I mean, it's still usable. We hardly use it. We only use it we used it last winter for rock salt, because we carry it in the open trailer in the bed of the truck, so we didn't want whatever salt we had left over from a job to get wet as we were driving. But anyway, so that's that. Comes with this grate here. We're not a real big fan of this grate. Just kind of sits in the garage, so we don't use it. I mean, essentially. All right. Now, so the agitator down here. Here's something I want you guys to pay close attention to: is the opening right here. So the let me open this up. Let me get it all the way. Okay, so the opening here is going to be a little bit different than the opening that's actually in the ice spreader. The agitator right here is basically it's almost like a cotter pin, if you will, a bent cotter pin, and it does all right. Let me rephrase that. It does good for fertilizer and seed and things like that. It doesn't do as good of a job as what we would like it to do for rock salt. So we've tried a couple different things in here, especially with lighter material. Sometimes what we found is it creates a little bit of like a static electricity. So with the lighter material, sometimes it doesn't always flow. So what we tried was actually take this out and then replace it with like some string trimmer line that'll fit in there, and tie it, and then just make it longer, so it kind of extends both ways through the hole here. It kind of works. Anyway, all right, so back here is where you adjust it on these Spykers, right? I'm assuming it's a lot like some other companies, but anyway, so you have 1 through 9, I want to say, and so this is where you adjust it. Right now it's on 9. What would be great is if you could actually see these numbers. So I might take a permanent marker and just run it over these numbers here. So that's the only thing. I mean, you can see where it's open, just because of how it protrudes out here, but it would be nice if you could actually see these numbers, especially in when you're coming to the end of the day and it's it's dusk or early in the morning. When you're out there, it's even harder to see, but it's all right. We kind of just got used to it and know where everything is. So the handle right here, this is pretty easy, right? I mean, on, off, open, closed, right there. All right, so we'll come around here to the front. The whole frame is powder coated, right? It's not stainless steel. It's powder coated. It's held up well. We generally clean it every time. If we use rock salt, of course, we clean it immediately. If we use fertilizer, I say that we clean it immediately, but as you can see, there's still some residue here. And then how this works on these models is there's only one drive tire, right? So this tire kind of just follows along, and then this tire here is the drive tire that actually drives the internal gear. You can see here it's a little bit dirty, but there is a grease nipple right here, which is great. All right. Now, remember what I said. Pay attention to this opening, right? Compared to the ice spreader's opening, right? Same stuff comes with it, by the way. So you do get the top, clear top, and then you do actually get this grate as well. But all right, now check this opening out. Look at how big that is. And you don't have like a cotter pin agitator. You actually have this blade that's down here, which is great because, for rock salt, for any of those that, dump bags of rock salt spreaders, that occasionally you'll get those chunks, right? But anyways, I really, really like that this opening is a lot larger. You can see the difference between that one and this one. So why does this matter? Why does this matter to me? Because I'm going to try something a little bit different with it. I didn't want it just for the rock salt, but I'm going to try and toss some top dressing on when we do, some lawn renovations and overseeding and things like that. For those of you who know and who spread peat moss, you already know that you can buy them at Lowe's in what are those, 3 cubic feet compressed bundles at any big box store, and they're so heavy. I say that, but listen, stop laughing, I'm old, all right? So this has got this nice big opening down here, and it's got this cutting edge instead of that cotter pin agitator. So my thought process is that enough material may be able to flow through here and actually be able to use it as a top dressing spreader as well. There really isn't any good other options. There's like a barrel. It's almost like a grate. It almost looks like a barrel made out of grated material, grate material, if you will, and you can fill it with top dressing, peat moss, and then run it across your yard and fill it again. But then there's also some really expensive options. Hopefully it works. We'll see. We'll try it out in the spring. We'll let you know. The whole thing is stainless steel. I really like the fact, let me not get in the shadow, but you can kind of see where they took the time to actually put some reflective tape here, some reflective tape here, and then you got a piece of reflective tape on the front. It's something small, but I think it just goes to show that they understand the times that we're going to be using rock salt spreaders, and it's usually within the hours of darkness. Now, another cool thing about this is that this deflector here comes with it. It is not an add-on. Like this, like our P60 here, it was an add-on. The deflector actually comes with it. Looks like it's just kind of like a PVC plastic maybe, but I thought it was really neat that it actually came with it, and it wasn't an accessory that you had to buy. Okay, so kind of down here, same kind of housing, and gear mechanism. Same thing with the tires, right? One actually drives the the gear mechanism. The one's just along for the ride. I do like, all right, let me go around here. I'm going to show you kind of the difference here. I do like the fact that down here at the bottom, the stand is actually, it's actually tube, right? So it curves. Now, it's kind of silly, right? But if you look over here, it's not. But why this matters is, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it, but when you're, you know, a lot of times you pull it backwards, right? And if you're not, if you don't have it, you know, up and you pull it backwards, or there's a little bit of an incline or a hill, what happens is one of these feet right here, you caught in it, you know, and then you got this thing, you know, you have it, your hopper open, and you got more seed or more fertilizer going where you don't want it to go, you know, because you're trying to roll through stuff real quickly. Here, not that problem, right? Because you can pull it back, and because it's tubing, it'll just kind of ride right over. You know, all this stuff is, I mean, it is heavy duty stuff here on this rock salt spreader. The deflector, I don't know if you guys can see, but right here on the deflector is where it's just kind of some little thumb screws here, and you can just take it off right there. So super easy. It's all stainless steel. It looks amazing. It feels great. It's considerably larger than the P60. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it is. And then right here is the control mechanism. So you can actually, this is a lot like on our tractor for the 3-point hitches. You can kind of just use this thumb screw, set it to wherever you want it, and then tighten it down. And then, so it's a real fine adjustment that you can make up here at the handle, right, or at the operator station, if you will, compared to, you know, you have to, the P60 where you have to stop and you have to reach down here, make your adjustment, and then and keep going. So here, the only thing that I'm not 100% sure on, and I only say this because we have this issue on the tractor. What am I trying to say here? Essentially, so you move this and you tighten it down right, and then, you know, a lot of times I'm not the gentlest, you know, I'm not like, you know, pussyfooting around with this thing, and I'm like, oh, here we go, you know, it's like, it's more like, ugh, you know, let's go. But, and what happens is, sometimes when you hit these things a little bit too hard, they end up, you know, sliding down. It happens on our 3-point adjustment on the tractor all the time, the control anyways. So I don't know, I mean, I almost would rather have indentations, but if you had indentations, then that would kind of defeat the purpose of giving you complete control over exactly how much of this hopper, you know, that you want open. So I don't know, we'll see. I mean, we'll see this winter, right? Now, I will say, ultimately, the one thing that I really do wish, and I'm just gonna maybe make something for this, but the one thing that I really do wish that Spyker would come out with, and as silly as it sounds, is whenever we're you know, putting down rock salt or moving snow, it's usually within the hours of darkness, especially at commercial properties that have to be open in, you know, by the morning. So, man, it would be cool to have a light kit. I know it sounds nuts, right? But it would be cool to have a light kit, only because not every place or not every residence or not every commercial property is lit up like it should be. So, yeah, I mean, a light kit would be great. Anyways, I think what I was going to try and do is, and I've done this before, on my saddlebags, my hard saddlebags inside my Harley, and I just put a piece of Velcro right here, and then I took a headlamp, you know, and then I took the band off the headlamp and put a piece of Velcro on the back of the headlamp. You know, it was one of those, you know, it was like 3 AAA battery headlamps, and then stuck it on there. So I was thinking about maybe just fashioning something like that, and then that way I can just, you know, pull it off and change the batteries as I need to. But that, I think that would do the trick. Something like that. But yeah, it would be cool if Spyker came out. I mean, even on this little guy right here, you know, during the normal mowing season, you know, we're always we work late sometimes, and you know, it would be nice to have a light to go, hey, oh man, how far, you know, I haven't got it set right, but you know, sometimes you got to shake it a little bit back and forth to get it to settle and whatnot. But anyways, that's really the only thing that I wish they would have as an accessory, I suppose. But all right, so let me do one more thing here. Let me open up these. All right, they're both open. Come over here. All right, let's just measure this so you guys can see. It might be hard to see it on a video, but all right, so what do we got there? What is that, like 3 inches or so? And then come over here, and then I'm doing this like left-handed backwards, looking like ridiculous. And then max opening is, I don't know, maybe an inch, maybe a little bit less. So all in all, you know, if you have 3 inches over here and then you have an inch over here, I mean, you can see where this may work for peat moss, some top dressing. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I hope you liked the video, me just rambling on here, and if you got any questions, leave a comment down below. Alright, so we just got the new Spyker ice spreader. Ice spreader. What an idiot. You farted twice? That's great. Unbelievable. Sound ridiculous, don't I?